Hello once again. Continuing with the solution using the simplex procedure for the first problem that I had played in video number 2. This is video number 3. Now the first set of values that we need to fill here in order we need to calculate are the z equation values. Using these z equation values, we will be finding out something which is called as an entering column that is available here. Entering column is a column which will replace a leaving row. That means to say from this iteration to the next iteration when we go, here the rows S1, S2, S3, one of them will be replaced by a new variable into the solution space. So therefore, in order to find out which is the column that needs to be entered in the second iteration and which is the row that needs to be moved out from this first table, we need to do some calculations. That calculation starts with the z equation values. So here, as you can see, the z equation elements are supposed to be found out by using summation of c coefficient of basic variable into xi minus coefficient of that variable in the objective function. So the calculation that needs to be done is here. For this particular cell, the z equation is calculated as 0 into 5. This is the CBO, coefficient of basic variable in the objective function, that is available here. So we multiply this coefficient of basic variable, that is CBO, into x1. x1 is 5, and the x1 is 5 in the first row, 2 in the second row, 1 in the third row. So here the calculation is 0 into 5 plus 0 into 2 plus 0 into 1, whole thing minus of the coefficient of this particular variable in the objective function. So therefore the value becomes 2. Similarly, here the value becomes 0 into 2 plus 0 into 1 plus 0 into 3 minus of 10. So therefore it becomes 10 minus 10. So here the third one is 0 into 1 plus 0 into 7 plus 0 into 2 minus of 1. So therefore it becomes minus 1. So these values I can simply write them as zeros. Now we use the values that we have actually calculated for the z equation in order to identify which is the entering column. So here, as I've written here, the entering column is identified as that column with the most negative value among the z equation elements. Okay, so as you can see here, minus 2, minus 10 and minus 1 are the z equation elements, and 0, 0, 0 not to be considered. So here among these z equation elements, the value the highest possible value with a negative sign is 10. So therefore I'm going to mark up this particular column and call it as the entering column. So this becomes the entering column. So in the next iteration, when we do the next iteration, the column that needs to be entered, so the variable that gets into the solution space is x2, but we now need to identify which basic variable will it be replacing. So therefore, in order to do that, we need to identify something which is called as a leaving row. In order to find out a leaving row, we need to calculate something which is called as a ratio. So ratio is found out, as I've written here, is found out as RHS divided by entering column coefficient. For example, here it becomes 15 divided by 2. You should understand one thing here is that the entering column coefficient for this particular row is the cell which is which the value which is available at the cell corresponding to that entering column. So here, so the entering column coefficient for this particular row is 2, entering column coefficient for S2 is 1, and S3 is 3. So therefore here ratio is 15 divided by 2, 20 divided by 1, and 25 divided by 3. So this comes to 7.5, 20 and 8.33. Okay, among these ratios, we now need to use one more information, that is the leaving row. Leaving row is identified as the least non-negative value among the ratios. So that means to say here the least non-negative value among the ratio needs to be taken into consideration in order to identify the leaving row. So here the values are 7.5, 20 and 8.33. So therefore the least possible value is 7.5 and it corresponds to S1. So therefore I'm going to mark it up and call this as the leaving row. So when we get into the next iteration, there are certain changes which is likely to happen. So first, most importantly, here S1 is now replaced by X2. So therefore I'm going to write here I'm going to replace S1 with X2 in the same position. The position should not be changed. So therefore I'm going to call this as the new pivot element. Okay, so the new pivot element is now written. The remaining two basic variables which have not yet been decided to be replaced, that is S2 and S3, still stay intact. Z equation has to be written once again. So as you can see, the same kind of table has now been written here once again. But during the first table, when we wrote and when we filled these values, we used the question that was given. But whereas the second time round, we are supposed to use the relationships that is mentioned here above. I'm going to tell you how exactly that needs to be used. In order to fill this second table, let us first fill the coefficient of these variables, new variables, in the objective function. So therefore x2, the coefficient of x2 in the basic variable is 10. So therefore I'm going to write it as 10 here. Coefficient of s2 in objective function is 0. S3 it is 0. Here we do not write anything. Among these many, cells, the first set of cells that needs to be filled are called as the new pivot element. In each of the iteration, apart from the first table, further iterations, in all of the further iteration, we are supposed to fill the new pivot element. New pivot elements are written or calculated by using the equation as the old equation element or the leaving row element divided by the key element. Now I'm going to tell you what is the meaning of key element.